Welcome back to the CSP Elite Baseball Development Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Cressey, and this is another edition of Pinch Hit Friday. Today, I want to talk a little bit about cross training, and this is something that's probably a hot topic right now as I record this in October because the baseball offseason is right underway. And we often hear about coaches, recommending to their players to just, hey, get away from the game for a little bit, go do something different. So in pro baseball, you'll often hear, hike and do yoga for a month or so and try that out. We'll see other athletes that, go and play pickup basketball, which may or may not be a great idea for them, but they'll go and do different things. But I think what it does is it gives us a little bit of a conversation starter with respect to what is and isn't appropriate cross training. And I'm a big believer that if you apply it incorrectly, cross training can beat athletes up as much as it can help them. So I'm all for young athletes playing as many different sports as possible. I've shouted from the rooftops how problematic I think early sports specialization is with respect to injury rates, particularly in the baseball community, but certainly across all sports. I think playing multiple sports gives you that rich proprioceptive environment that creates an awesome foundation for future athletic development as we get to more specific, sporting endeavors. And likewise, later on, once an athlete has specialized, there's definitely a time of year where cross training can be applied. It just has to be done correctly. So what am I getting at? I think the lower the movement variability in one sport, the less bold the cross training can be. So to maybe give this a little bit better context, imagine a soccer midfielder or a football defensive back. I remember, reading something that said a soccer midfielder covers about 7 miles in a game and about 2,200 changes of direction during that time. It's old numbers from a long time ago, so don't quote me on it. But, that athlete, football defensive back, point guard in basketball, those athletes all have a ton of movement variability in their sport participation. There's lots of change of direction. There's full speed sprinting. There's backpedaling. There's jumping. There's a host of additional sport specific skills, things like dribbling and catching and all that stuff. So asking one of those athletes to go out and play ultimate frisbee or beach volleyball for a change of pace really isn't going to dramatically increase their injury risk. At the other end of the spectrum, especially because this is a baseball podcast, take a baseball pitcher or a pro golfer into this same challenge, and it's actually going to be a much more stressful event with a much higher likelihood of injury. It's not to say these athletes are soft or delicate. It's just that the majority of their athletic calendars take place with a lot of specificity. In other words, there's less movement variability to their sport challenges. When you play golf, when you swing the golf club, you want as little variability as possible. You're trying to be very precise. The same thing with the pitching delivery. You're trying to make every single throw look identical so you can consistently repeat your mechanics and impart force to the baseball the way you want to. So, one of the best examples I think we have of this is, in the past when interleague play in Major League Baseball was a thing, we would see an American League pitcher who got hurt running the bases, swinging at the plate, diving back into first base, whatever it is. Specificity of training matters, and it takes a considerable volume of specificity to build a tolerance to competing at such a high level. So I think we need to be very careful about how we throw specific athletes like pitchers, golfers, things like that into very non-specific movement tasks that in the cross-training world. So this isn't just specific to amplitude of movement. So range of motion isn't the only thing that matters, but also the direction and the magnitude of forces, needs to be considered. This is why there are a lot of people who can go out and play recreational golf in their 40s, but then they go and they play pickup hoops and they blow out an Achilles. As an example, also elite swimmers have a really high pain tolerance from the insane volumes that they do in the pool. But, to put them into an ultimate frisbee game, and you're probably going to see some awkward movements because they aren't accustomed to, the ground reaction forces and moving a lot in the frontal and transverse planes in these worlds. So just keep this in mind, particularly now in the early off season as you plan your cross training activities. Just because you see NFL players, dominating a game of tag doesn't mean that your, 51-year-old Masters Division swimming star or 35-year-old pitcher is going to really thrive with it. We have to be really cognizant of what our athletes' capabilities are and how it matches up to the cross-training initiative that we have in mind for them. This episode is brought to you by AG1, the most comprehensive NSF certified for sport daily nutritional supplement I've ever tried. With so many stressors in life, it can be difficult to maintain effective nutritional habits and give our bodies the nutrients they need to thrive. As a father of 3 young kids and a co-founder of multiple businesses in multiple states on top of still being an avid exerciser, I know that busy schedules can really take their toll on us. Whether it's poor sleep, exercise or life stressors, environmental factors, or simply not eating enough of the right foods, we can often wind up deficient nutritionally. This is where AG1 can really help. It's a game-changing nutritional insurance policy. They simplify the logistics of getting optimal nutrition on a daily basis by giving you just one thing with all the best things. That's why I use it daily, as do several of my family members, and we recommend it to a lot of our top athletes. One scoop of AG1 contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients that work together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet to support energy, focus, digestion, and recovery. And this can all happen for less than $3 per day and without taking multiple products. While most nutritional supplements come to market and stay stagnant, AG1 continues to obsessively improve this one holistic formula based on the latest research, producing over 50 improvements in the last decade alone. They invest in the most absorbable and natural source of each ingredient and go above and beyond in third-party testing to ensure their customers continue to receive the highest quality and best tasting nutrition happen on the planet. Whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, it'll work for you, and it contains less than 1 gram of sugar per serving. They put 75 ingredients through the rigorous NSF certification test to come up with a safe formula that's trusted by some of the world's top athletes, including many of our own at Cressey Sports Performance. Right now, AG1 is giving our listeners a special offer of 10 free travel packets with their first purchase. Just head to drinkag1.com/Cressey and claim this special offer. These travel packets are perfect for supporting your immune system, energy, and gut health while you're traveling for games, training, or simply on the go. They can be great counterbalance to the less than ideal on-the-road food options that are out there for a lot of our traveling baseball players. So if you want to bridge the gap between deficient and optimal and give yourself the best chance of getting nutrient diversity, head to drinkag1.com/Cressey to get 10 free travel packets with your first purchase. Again, that's drinkag1.com/Cressey, Cressey. You won't regret it.